Hey guys, what's up? My name's Eric and I'm the Techy Agent, and today we're taking a look at this guy right here. This is the Samson Q9U USB-C and XLR microphone. So let's go ahead and dive into the review, and today we're going to compare this microphone against some other microphones that are kind of similar in design and intent. So this is, kind of geared to be kind of a broadcast microphone for the prosumer individual who might be looking to do YouTube videos or a podcast or something of that nature. And it allows a lot of flexibility with the XLR and the USB-C out. So you've got different connectivity options on it, but we're going to compare it against the Rode pod mic, but we're also going to compare it against something much more expensive like the Shure SM7B. So we're going to take this microphone, do some blind tests today so that your ears can be the deciding factor over which of these microphones is the best microphone for the money. We've got this microphone that comes in at right around $200. The Rode microphone comes in at right around $100. And then you've got the Shure SM7B, which comes in at around $399, $400. And then if you buy a cloud lifter on top of it to make that microphone, kind of clear up and work a little bit better, you're looking at right around $500, $450 for the Shure. So a $100 microphone against a $200 microphone against a $400-ish microphone, and we're going to see how close these microphones are in terms of just audio quality. Let's go ahead and talk first about the build quality of this microphone. It's right up there with the Shure and with the Rode. Both Shure and Rode have built, these microphones that are just heavy duty, well constructed, made out of metallic, metal materials, not a lot of plastic. The same thing is true with the Samson microphone. We've got a microphone that is very well constructed, heavy quality materials. You can just tell that the build quality is definitely there with this microphone. We'll talk about some of the features here, but first let's go ahead and dive into our first blind test where we're going to compare spoken word against these three different microphones. And we're going to listen to first just basically an unedited raw version of the audio where all I've done is just normalized the audio so that the volumes are approximately the same. And then we're going to listen to a version of the same file that's been processed using kind of the presets that I use for podcasting. So that way you can hear how each microphone sounds raw and how each microphone sounds once it's been processed. And I'll give you my opinions of what I think about each of those. But first, let's go ahead and dive into the blind test so you guys can decide which audio you guys prefer the most. So you're going to be hearing the Rode pod mic, the Samson Q9U, and the Shure SM7B in no particular order. They are going to be labeled mic 1, 2, and mic 3. First, you're going to hear raw audio, so you may need to turn up your volume because it is going to be unprocessed audio that's a little bit lower. And then after listening to the unprocessed audio, I'll go ahead and give you guys the processed version of each of these microphones with the exact same effects and processing being applied to all three microphones. The small puppy gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Press the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. 2 blue fish swam in the tank. Her purse was full of useless trash. The colt reared and threw the tall rider. It snowed, rained, and hailed the same morning. The small puppy gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Press the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. 2 blue fish swam in the tank. Her purse was full of useless trash. The colt reared and threw the tall rider. It snowed, rained, and hailed the same morning. The small pup gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Press the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. 2 blue fish swam in the tank. Her purse was full of useless trash. The colt reared and threw a tall rider. It snowed, rained, and hailed the same morning. The small puppy gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Press the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. 2 blue fish swam in the tank. Her purse was full of useless trash. The colt reared and threw the tall rider. It snowed, rained, and hailed the same morning. The small puppy gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Press the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. 2 blue fish swam in the tank. Her purse was full of useless trash. The colt reared and threw the tall rider. It snowed, rained, and hailed the same morning. The small pup gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Press the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. 2 blue fish swam in the tank. Her purse was full of useless trash. The colt reared and threw a tall rider. It snowed, rained, and hailed the same morning. So I'll give you a moment to decide which one you thought sounded the best in terms of raw audio, and maybe you have a different answer on which one you thought was the best for the processed audio, but I'm going to put the answers on screen right now. Yes, so the Samsung Q9U was number 1, the Shure SM7B was mic number 2, and the Rode Pod mic was mic number 3. Now let me go ahead and give you some of my observations. These are my opinions. You are certainly free to have a differing opinion. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are, but let me give you my opinions. So my opinion is that the Samsung Q9U actually sounded better than the other 2 microphones in terms of raw audio. So just microphone directly plugged into audio interface, plugged into a computer using the XLR. I think that the Samsung actually sounded the best for spoken word. Now that said, once the audio was processed, I actually felt like the Samsung got a little bit muddy, a little bit too thick, and the Shure SM7B had a more balanced and kind of a crispier, brighter tone to the audio. It was a little bit more articulate, and I also felt that the Rode Pod mic was too harsh. The Rode Pod mic didn't do as good of a job with spoken word at rejecting plosives as the other 2 microphones, and it was a little bit too harsh once the audio was processed, and the Samsung was a little bit too muddy compared to the other 2. Now that said, this microphone does have a couple of switches on the back that could potentially compensate and kind of change the dynamics of the microphone. It's got a high pass filter on the back, and it's also got a mid boost. So you could probably clear up some of that muddiness by dropping off the high pass and boosting the mids. However, I will say this, the high pass filter on this is very aggressive compared to the high pass filter of the SM7B. The SM7B high pass always is just kind of a subtle high pass. This appears to be much more aggressive, and I feel like it alters the characteristics of your voice just a little bit too much. You almost go the opposite direction. It almost goes from being too muddy to being like too bright and harsh. And so, in my opinion, the best settings on this microphone are what I have it set at right now, which is the high pass filter turned off and the mid-range, the mid-boost turned on. Consequently, that's also my favorite setting on the SM7B as well. And then I prefer to kind of use software to apply my high pass filter so I can kind of get a customized high pass effect rather than relying on the hardware of the microphone. But all of that to say, this microphone, in my opinion, really is a great option. For $200, you get a broadcast quality microphone that sounds really good. Now, where this doesn't beat the Shure SM7B, in my opinion, is when it comes to recording music. I'm a musician, I play guitar and I sing, and so this microphone was not at all designed for really that kind of functionality. In my opinion, this microphone was designed to be a broadcast microphone, similar to what the Rode Pod mic is doing as well. Neither of these microphones, in my opinion, are great options for musicians, and musicians should probably save up the extra couple $100s to get the SM7B because it's a little bit more versatile. That said, this microphone doesn't sound bad for recording music, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm actually going to record an electric guitar, so I'm going to put this up to a guitar cabinet, speaker cabinet, record the guitar audio, and then also record some sound samples of me singing into this microphone to show you that even though I do think the Shure SM7B is a better microphone for musicians, this actually does a really good job.
It's to test out this silly microphone. And my son is off camera and he's rolling his eyes. I'm gonna embarrass him till the day I die. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I've actually been incredibly impressed with the preamps on this microphone. Normally, what I'll see on a kind of a dual microphone that's got USB-C or USB out and also XLR out are that the XLR quality that you're getting when you're plugging into an audio interface is significantly better than the audio quality you get when you plug in the microphone via USB-C or USB. Not so on this mic. I can really not tell that much of a difference at all between this microphone when it's being recorded plugged in through USB-C and compared to when it's being plugged in through XLR to an audio interface. And I don't know if that's because the audio interfaces that I have, I've got 4 of them, are all junky, but I've got a Steinberg that's a pretty good preamp in there, and I can't really tell the difference between plugging this microphone into the audio interface and then plugging it directly in via USB-C. So I'm pretty impressed with that. They must have a really good preamp in here that's processing that audio and then converting it to digital for your computer, and I'm really impressed with how consistent of a sound I'm getting between the XLR and the USB.
Okay, I'm sure that I could probably spend more time on the review, but actually what I want to do is put a link in the description of this video where you should go check out a couple of other channels that do a really good job with microphone reviews. These are channels that I both personally subscribe to because I go to them for information about how to set up my audio gear and what microphones I should be buying. So rather than having a 20-minute review on my channel, I'm gonna have you guys go watch some of their reviews because it's good when you're buying a microphone to get exposure to different individuals who have different voices, different audio preferences, because music and audio and voiceover work is a very subjective thing. So make sure to check out the links in the description below, and I'm also going to put a purchase link in the description of this video where you can pick this up for the best price possible, which at the time of this review is $200. So thanks for watching. My name is Eric and I'm the Techy Agent. We'll catch you next time.